So it's Wednesday. You open up YouTube, expecting a new World Gandhi video on the Kingdom of 5, but wait. There's no video. It's something else. A different system, you could say. It is Earthdawn, you could say. Welcome to a video on a new system I'm playing called Earthdawn. I'll be doing this every 2 weeks on Wednesdays, and the Kingdom of 5 videos will be every 2 weeks as well now from this point on. Simply because I'm going way too quick for those videos, and I'm scared that I will hit a point where there's no videos to make for my Kingdom of 5. So what is Earthdawn, you may be saying? Well, Earthdawn is a fantasy world set, and based on the Shadowrun universe, you could say. You could say it's more of like a prequel to Shadowrun before the technology gets insane and gets all cyberpunky. Well, so it's back in like a high fantasy world with different races, some unique races to Earthdawn, which also appear in Shadowrun as well. And also, there's no similarities between Earthdawn and D&D, apart from you use dice, there's magic, there's swords. That's it. That is where the similarities end for both systems. And this has now become my new favourite system at the moment. You know, it's been a lot of fun. So what is the story I've got for you today? Well, our party begins in a small place called Clearwater. A small little cove where a town has been made. The town itself was forged by the master elementalist in the city called Ilhan. Ilhan is the mage who resides here. He's ancient, lived past long what a human should live. And when the Kier... I should explain what a Kier is, actually. A Kier is a vault. Best way to give you a reference is Fallout. These vaults were made because of the Scourge. And the Scourge was... Best example is Fallout, but instead of nukes, it was with magic. Magic and rampant. Horrors and beasts roamed the land, so Kiers were made to protect the people. So, yeah, Clearwater is a town which was made from the residents of Clearwater. But where does our party come into this? Well, they are a class of people in the world called adepts, people who train to the point where they start using magic naturally in the skills they do. And these are referred to as talents. There are different types of adepts. I'll give examples now. There is elementalist, there's an aeromancer, there's a sword fighter, there's a warrior. Well, I say sword, I mean sword master. I apologise. And there's a few more which kind of have different roles, and there's some overlapping talents, which is kind of nice. And it's a very interesting system. So, we are adepts, and these adepts usually train for 6-7 years before they become adepts. But weirdly for Clearwater, some residents have become adepts without training. It just happened. And my character in this was Blanca. Blanca was a Duskrang. Duskrangs are lizard folks who live down slightly south of Clearwater, but they are residents of this town. I joined a few sessions into this game, so there was a bit of basic quests I missed. So while people was getting herbs and doing a bit of discovering their abilities, I was still at Clearwater. I was training, I was trying to figure out what my new abilities was. I was working with the guards, trying to prove them and make them better guards. I know they will never be adepts, but if I can do some work, some groundwork, Clearwater would be a safer town. Yes, it would definitely be safer. Bit of foreshadowing there. While I was training, the party was out. Xantha, Will, Finn, and Inkai was investigating a missing farmer. They found his body devoured. All was to be found was his legs. Inkai and Xantha tapped into astral vision to see what happened. Did any trace of what happened? And all they saw was vivid taint. This implied a horror was here. Coming back to town straight away, realizing they needed Blanca's help for this, they went to find me, and found me training with the gods still. To the gods' delight, they had a break now, and they could sit down and have a beer, as the Renaissance sort of Blanca's training has came to an end. It was time to share the bad news with Wilf's wife. So we went, and as one who did the talking, as Adam was swordmaster. Swordmasters are like Renaissance knights. Yes, they are meant to be skillful with a blade, but their tongue and wit is also as sharp. Speaking to Filka, the orc who was the wife of Wilf, and she was distraught. But she asked for one thing. She pulled out an orcish dagger off her chest and offered it to me. Said, "If you want to kill the creature that killed Wilf, please use this dagger." And Blanca is a man of his word. He took that dagger and strapped it to himself, and he knew he would use it. We then went to buy supplies, oil, booster potions, and everything, and some light crystals, just to we knew the Kia would be dark. Oils to burn the bodies after we was done, as we didn't want any of that taint to be still roaming. So they set off towards the Kia, Blanca not knowing what the trails looked like, or what the creatures looked like, apart from a rough guess. He did not lead, but he took the rear guard and watched. Inkai, Xantha, and Finn. They decided to have a look for trails. So Finn was a trainee elementalist. He had basic skills of tracking, but he knew what the creature looked like. Xantha was a ranger. She knew what to look for. She knew what tracks could look like. And Inkai was our potential scout. He knew he could be stealthy if he wanted, and that is a skill desperately needed when tracking down vicious creatures of the taint. We took shelter for the night, knowing we could not get any further, and travelling in the dark with these creatures around is not a good thing. So, I took the first watch, being I could not see at night. So the morning watch or evening watch was best for me. Nothing happened on the night watch, so we proceeded. And eventually, within an hour or two, we arrived at the Kia, seeing its rough stone entrance, a small cave. You wouldn't know it was there if you didn't know you was looking for it. We spent the next few hours, axes at ready, swords at ready, sharpening branches, trees, stumps, everything we could find, set up a small little barricade. So we knew these creatures like to jump distances. So we was hoping that if there is a way of blocking the entrance, that when they returned here to the Kia, they would jump onto the barricades and pinning themselves. After that was done, we entered the Kia. We sent Inkai in with his danger sense ready to detect if any creatures was hostile to him. Nothing went off as he entered the first cave. So it was a slow movement with 2 skrangs, a dwarf, and 2 wildlings went into the cave. As we entered further, we found joblings and feces in the cave, determining that we did not know what creatures dropped this, but it was definitely not of horror origin. There's not just the creatures we was hunting in here, there was something just as terrifying. And that'll be the end of today's session. Hope people are liking the change in Earthdawn. Earthdawn is a nice system, and I want to spread the love. So that's why I'm doing today's video, and I'll probably do another 5-6 more of these. And hopefully, people will give the system a try. And as always, I hope your crits are plenty and your game sessions are long. It's been Warlord Gandhi, and I'll see you next time.